MCO 3.0 extended for 2 more weeks. High vaccination rate shows COVID-19 immunization program going well. Welcome to News at 10 with me, Brendan Lepol. Now, the government has decided to extend the nationwide lockdown for another 2 weeks. Initially slated to end on 14 June, Senior Minister for Security, Datuk Seri Semasa said it will now be extended from 15 until 28 June. In a release statement, the senior minister said the decision was made after taking into account the high number of COVID-19 cases, which has remained above 5,000 infections per day, with an average daily cases of 6,871 as of yesterday. He noted that the standard operating procedures (SOP) for this extension would be the same as the currently enforced, including for manufacturing, businesses and industries. Members of the public can obtain more information regarding the matter by visiting the National Security Council's official website. Under the total lockdown, only 17 essential service sectors are allowed to operate, including healthcare and telecommunications and media, apart from 12 manufacturing sectors such as food and drink manufacturing and textiles for producing personal protective equipment. Now, the high number of vaccine doses administered daily is proof that the National COVID-19 Immunization Program launched on 24th February is proceeding smoothly. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the government is currently working to increase the daily vaccination capacity from 156,000 to 300 and 400,000 per day by increasing the number of vaccine administration centres, PPV, from 300 to 600, including drive-through centres.
Alhamdulillah, proses vaksinasi sudah meningkat. Kita tahu semalam 156,000 itulah jumlahnya, akan meningkat sampai 200 ke 250,000 dan lagi pada bulan Julai mungkin 300 ke 400,000 sehari seluruh negara. Langkah sebegini ialah untuk menambah kemudahan PPV yang kita sudah adakan lebih 300. Kita akan naik sampai ke 600, tetapi kita tambah lagi dengan mobile unit seperti ini, drive-in seperti ini, ada pergi kawasan-kawasan luar bandar dengan berbagai bentuk corak supaya tidak ada satu rakyat Malaysia yang patut mendapat vaksin ini tertinggal.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the government would ensure that everyone who is eligible would be vaccinated for the country to achieve herd immunity by the end of the year to improve conditions in the country and speed up economic recovery. The Premier said this during his visit at the University Kebangsaan Malaysia Specialist Children's Hospital and inspecting the drive-through vaccination centre at Hospital Chancellor Tuanku Mukris in Cheras today. The capacity rate of the COVID-19 quarantine and low-risk treatment centres, PKRC, nationwide now stands at 60%. According to National Disaster Management Agency, NATMA, Director General Dr. Aminuddin Hasim, his agency is ready to implement several measures, including adding more PKRCs if the number of patients continues to increase. He explained that the priority to establish additional PKRCs will be for highly populated areas including the Klang Valley and Johor Bahru.
Kalaulah 80% saja kita kena cari option tertentu. Tapi kita ada option itu. Sebab kita selain daripada itu kita ada 360 institut latihan awam persekutuan satu Malaysia. Itu merupakan potensi. Namun gitu, kebanyakan institut latihan awam ini telah kita gunakan sebagai pusat kuarantin. Yang balik daripada luar negara dahululah kita pakai itu.
He said this after visiting the Ipoh Badminton Arena in Perak, which has about 440 beds, with 80% of them have been used.
Senior Works Minister Dato Sri Fadila Yusof has tested positive for COVID-19. Now, the Works Ministry, in a statement today, said Dato Sri Fadila had undergone a screening test at 10:11 or rather 10:15 a.m. yesterday, which is carried out in his office from time to time, and the test result came out last night.
According to the statement, Dato Sri Fadila had been undergoing screening tests from time to time and had tested negative prior to this, including the test taken on the 3rd of June. The statement also reads that the minister is now in stable condition and has apologized for any inconvenience caused. It also said the minister will now undergo quarantine at home as advised by the Health Ministry as he is asymptomatic. During the quarantine period, Dato Sri Fadila will continue to monitor the ministry's affairs and ensure all affairs run smoothly.
Malaysia reported 6,849 new daily COVID-19 cases, up from 5,671 a day earlier, taking cumulative confirmed infections due to the virus to 646,411 so far. In a tweet by Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Hisham Abdullah, Selangor saw a jump in the number of cases today to 2,558 from 1,510 yesterday.
The state has consistently led in the number of COVID-19 cases due to its mass testing approach to curb the spread of the coronavirus as the federal government steps up the pace of vaccination. Kuala Lumpur came in second with 884 cases, followed by Sarawak, 699, and Negeri Sembilan, 685. Meanwhile, today also saw the highest recovery rate of COVID-19 patients with 7,749 individuals were discharged from health facilities and quarantine centres nationwide, taking the total recovery rate from the virus to 87.22% from the total number of cases, or 563,779. There are currently 78,864 cases in the country as of this noon, with 912 patients are currently receiving treatment in the ICU and 458 are requiring ventilator support. Malaysia also registered 84 new deaths in the last 24 hours, taking the country's death toll to 3,768, or 0.58% from total cases reported. From the figure, 68 of the deceased are persons with comorbidities or chronic diseases, while 16 others did not.
Several more political party leaders turned up at Istana Negara in Kuala Lumpur today to have separate audiences with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah, Rayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah. UMNO President Dato Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi was the first leader to have an audience with His Majesty.
The vehicle carrying Dato Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid was seen entering the Palace Gate at 9:55 a.m. and leaving at 11 a.m. MIC President Tan Sri S.A. Vigneswaran also went for an audience, entering the palace at 10:45 a.m. and leaving almost 1 hour later, without stopping to speak to reporters. Parti Bersatu Sabah President Dato Sri Dr. Maximus Johnny T. Ongkili was the last political party leader to have an audience with His Majesty today. He arrived at Istana Negara at about 2:15 p.m. and left at 3:24 p.m. after spending more than an hour inside the palace. Meanwhile, Sarawak Chief Minister Dato' Patinggi Abang Johari Tun Obeng, who is also Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS President, will have an audience with the King via video conferencing from his office in Kuching. Leaders of political parties, including from the opposition, have been summoned for audiences with His Majesty beginning Wednesday. So far, 10 leaders have been granted audiences by Al-Sultan Abdullah.
Maxis Berhad has ensured that its services remain accessible to all customers via its physical and online stores, and that its networks are uninterrupted for continued connectivity despite the implementation of the Full Movement Control Order (MCO). On top of that, the newly revamped Maxis TV also brings the best of world-class over-the-top OTT streaming providers in an all-in-one experience.
In a statement today, Maxis said the Maxis mobile and fixed networks remains uninterrupted, while installations and service recovery continue to be carried out by Maxis technical experts during the full MCO, except for areas and zones under Enhanced Movement Control Order (EMCO) and Targeted Enhanced Movement Control Order (TAMCO). As many subscribers depend on high-speed connectivity while working or studying from home, Maxis has also upgraded its capacity, continuing from its 2020 network expansion program. Chief Executive Officer Gokhan Ogut said, with education being an important pillar of Maxis's community initiatives, the group has been ramping up digital activities for Maxis E-Class, its flagship community program, to encourage continued after-school learning. Maxis E-Class is an after-school digital learning initiative for students from primary 4 to form 5, which brings learning enrichment in a fun and vibrant way and provides access to quality education content.
Malaysia recorded the highest ever growth in manufacturing sales value in April this year, surging by 72.5% from a year ago to 130.6 billion ringgit. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahirin said on monthly basis, the sales value increased by 2.9%.
In a statement, Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair said the sharp increment of growth in April was a reflection of recovery due to base effect from the implementation of movement control order last year. He explained that the increase was driven by transport equipment and other manufacturers' products, electrical and electronics products, as well as petroleum, chemical, rubber and plastic products. He said the manufacturing sector also reported an increase in the number of workers employed in April. The total employees in the sector rose by 3% in April to 2.23 million workers, compared with 2.16 million people in April last year. He said salaries and wages paid amounted to 7.38 billion ringgit, which was 8.2% higher, or an increase of over 560 million ringgit from a year ago.
To come, Johor Police seized more than 1 million ringgit worth of drugs. Stay with us. But first, a cosmetic entrepreneur and his friend were charged for allegedly committing obscene communications and sexual grooming involving underage children. Now, they have been remanded for 3 days beginning today, with the order issued by the Bandar Baru Bangi Magistrates Court.
Both suspects were charged under Sections 12 and 15 of the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017. It was reported that the entrepreneur had committed the offence during an Instagram live session co-hosted with his friend. They were inappropriately dressed during the session and were also seen using vape devices believed to be shown to children aged 14 and 15. Kajang Police Chief ACP Muhammad Zaid Hassan said that the police conducted an investigation after receiving a report by a complainant who had watched the live stream.
4 men believed to be part of a criminal organization known as Gang 36 had broken into a businessman's house on 4 June, causing 1.2 million ringgit of losses. Malacca Police Chief Dato' Abdul Majid Muhammad Ali said during the incident, the 54-year-old victim and his wife, 42, were tied, while 2 of their children aged 8 and 9 years old were not harmed.
Elaborating further, Dato' Abdul Majid said in a police report lodged by the victims, the suspects stole numerous personal belongings, including a white Range Rover. Acted based on intel, police managed to detain 5 men aged 27 to 37 years old in a raid at Bandar Baru, Kuala Lumpur on 7 June and confiscated various stolen items such as jewellery, sword collection and cash money, including 2 luxury vehicles used by the suspects to carry out their criminal activities. Initial investigation revealed that the suspects used the travel permission letter issued by Ministry of International Trade and Industry, MITI, to sneak past the roadblocks mounted at state borders.
Setakat ni mangsa tidak mengalami apa kecederaan, cuma diikat tangan je, diikat tangan dan digunakan parang lah. Parang pun didapati daripada rumah pengadu sendiri. Tidak. Sebab masa kejadian ni pun awal pukul 8, jadi dia masuk ikut pintu depannya lah.
The case is being investigated under Section 395 of the Penal Code and Section 379A of the Penal Code. Meanwhile, the 9 Criminal Investigation Department of Bukit Aman seized 8 imitation rifles in series of raids conducted on 5 houses in Jasin. In the raids, 5 men aged between 34 to 65 years old, including the imitation firearm maker, were arrested. Further investigations carried out by the police found that the imitation firearms were sold for hunting activities or to close acquaintances only. Dato Abdul Majid called on any individuals possessing such firearms to come forward and surrender the item voluntarily before a major crackdown is launched to trace the remaining imitation firearms. Also seized in the raids were 91 cartons of smuggled cigarettes made up from various brands worth around 13,170 ringgit. Both cases are being investigated under Section 8 of Firearm Act 1960 and Section 135, Subsection 1, Subsection D of Customs Act 1967.
Johor Police have successfully crippled a drug syndicate which turned a condominium unit into a storage for drug distribution. In 2 separate raids, they managed to arrest 4 individuals and seize 34.66 kilogram shabu, 47.54 kilogram heroin worth 1.8 million ringgit, apart from impounding 2 cars worth around 40,000 ringgit. Johor Police Chief Dato Ayub Han Maidin PJ said the 4 suspects are being remanded for 6 days until 15 June to assist in investigations.
Kalau kita tengok rampasan ini besar, walaupun lebih kurang 1.8 juta, sudah tentulah mereka tidak bergerak 4 orang. Saya rasa mustahil. Dia mungkin ada orang yang menyalurkan dadah ni, dia mana dia ambil dan disimpan dan mereka akan edarkan mengikut apa permintaan. Sudah tentulah ini melibatkan sedikit tuan.
The case is being investigated under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952.
On another note, Dato Ayub Han said 398 compounds totaling 1.3 million ringgit were issued by Johor Police to individuals and 11 factories since the MCO 3.0 was enforced on the 1st of June for violations of the SOP.
Nilai compound dan mungkin apabila dia orang pergi dekat KKN ni mungkin akan dapat diskaun lah sebagainya tuan. Kita tengok dia punya kategori kesalahan tu.
And in sports, national archery team ends 2-year wait to win bronze in Asian Cup. Stay with us. The national archery team ended a 2-year wait to win a medal at an international tournament when they took bronze in the men's team recurve event at the 2021 Asian Cup in Gwangju, South Korea recently. Now the national trio of Olympian Khairul Anwar Muhammad, Muhammad Zarif Shahir Zulkifli and Muhammad Akmal Nur Hasrin lost to the Japanese team represented by Takaharu Furukawa, Yuki Kawata and Hiroki Muto 5-4 in the semi-finals.
Only 3 teams competed in the event following the withdrawal of Kazakhstan from the tournament. The last time the trio achieved a podium finish was at the 2019 Asian Cup in Clark, the Philippines, where they also won bronze in the same event. Malaysia won 4 gold, 1 silver and 5 bronze medals in the 2019 tournament. The 3 now are expected to compete in a tournament in Paris, France on 18th to 20th June. The focus is definitely on Muhammad Zarif Shahir and Muhammad Akmal, who are eyeing a slot at the Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan next month, as the tournament is the last qualifying event for the Olympics. Khairul Anwar had secured his place in the Olympics after winning a silver medal at the World Archery Championship in Sertogenbosch, the Netherlands in June 2019. Tokyo 2020 will be the 3rd Olympics appearance for Khairul Anwar, 29, after the London 2012 and Rio 2016 editions, which also saw Muhammad Akmal make his Olympics debut in Brazil. The Tokyo Olympics are scheduled to take place from 23rd July to 8th August.
In football, national head coach Tan Cheng Ho believes it is time for the Harimau Malaya to finally end their 4-game winless streak against Vietnam when the team square off tomorrow. The 2022 World Cup, 2023 Asian Cup Group G second round qualifier at the Al Maktoum Stadium, Dubai, the United Arab Emirates UAE, will be the 5th time Cheng Ho leads the squad out against the Golden Dragons since being appointed head coach in December 2017.
Cheng Ho feels that with his team showing a better understanding from both the technical and tactical aspects, the time was ripe for Malaysia to end their Vietnam jinx. His confidence also stems from the spirit shown by his charges in a bid to bounce back from their 4-0 loss to the UAE last week and revive their chances of qualifying to the 2023 Asian Cup finals.
I think of a few days of preparation and a few days of the training. I think my players are ready for tomorrow match against Vietnam. We know that we didn't have a good result against UAE. I believe that my players have been going through a few sessions of training that they have stepped up in the performance, individual, and then definitely as a team we are prepared for the tomorrow game.
For the record, the Harimau Malaya have only managed to eke out a draw in their last 4 matches against Vietnam, with the latest results being a 1-0 loss during the qualifying campaign in Hanoi in October 2019. Vietnam are doing well in the qualifiers, leading the standings with 14 points after winning 4 and drawing twice in 6 matches and conceding just 1 single goal thus far.
That concludes this evening news at 10 and our top story, MCO 3.0 extended for 2 more weeks. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Till then, I'm Brenda Paul. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM. Stay safe and good night.